Step into a world where shadows dance to an eerie tune. This is the tale of the haunting melody of shadows, a story woven with suspense, mystery, and a spine-chilling melody that binds all who dare to hear it. Dim the lights, put your headphones on, and let the haunting begin. It all began on a stormy night in the quaint village of Eldermore. Winds howled through the streets, rain splattered against the windows, and a cacophony of thunder rattled the rooftops. Flashing through this tempest stood an antique music shop known for its dusty vinyls, forgotten sheet music, and the occasional oddity. Inside, Amos, the shop's proprietor, stood amidst rows of old records and wooden shelves stacked with sheet music. He was a man of many habits, but his favorite tradition, unearthing rare treasures in the forgotten nooks of his shop. On this particular night, as thunder cracked, Amos found himself rummaging an old locked chest marked with faded initials SR. The chest creaked open to reveal a leather-bound book of music compositions, its cover etched with peculiar symbols. At the very top lay loose sheet music titled The Shadow Sonata. The musical notes almost seemed alive, shifting ever so slightly when turned at an angle. And then there was the handwritten note attached. Play, but beware. It awakens what lies beyond. Curiosity got the better of Amos, and without hesitating, he placed the sheet on his piano and began to play. The first note was haunting, yet magical, echoing through the shop. With every keystroke, the storm outside intensified, as if nature itself responded. The melody was hypnotic, a symphony of whispers and wailing winds, and as Amos reached the crescendo, he realized he was no longer alone. The shop dimmed bit by bit, though no switch had been touched. Shadows lengthened unnaturally as if drawn toward the piano. He caught faint glimpses of silhouetted figures moving, watching, just beyond the reach of light. Amos froze, yet his fingers continued as if moved by an unseen force. When he finally struck the last chord, everything fell silent. The storm, the whispers, the creaking floorboards. But then, there was the sharp knock on the shop's door. It wasn't the storm. Something stood waiting. Heart pounding, Amos slowly approached the door. Through the fogged-up glass, a figure loomed, tall but shadowy, with eyes that glowed faintly crimson. Amos hesitated, but felt compelled to unlock it. As he unlatched the door, the figure didn't enter. Instead, it pointed to the piano, a bony finger extending from the folds of an ancient cloak. A low voice whispered, "Finish what you've started." Amos took a step back, but realized the music score was missing from the piano. Instead, it floated, suspended in midair, turning its pages as if an invisible musician was deciding which movement to play next. Before he could flee, the shop's door slammed shut behind him, and the piano began playing itself. The haunting melody returned, louder and more menacing. As the music wound through its eerie tune, shadows started to take on more defined forms, three-dimensional horrors filled with contorted faces and vacant eyes. They seemed tethered to the music, moving in unnatural synchrony with the melody. With every crescendo, their features became more vivid, clawing their way toward Amos. Desperation kicked in. Amos lunged for the sheet music, but fell short. The shadows reached closer and closer. And then he noticed something. Each shadow froze briefly when he stomped his foot in rhythm with the melody. A realization dawned on him. He could disrupt their advance by matching their tempo. Quickly, he grabbed a tambourine from a nearby rack and began hitting it in sync with the ghostly tune. For a moment, it worked. The shadows pulled back, screeching in agony. But the melody quickened, shifting into a sinister key with chords that sent shivers through his spine. Amos struggled to keep up. Each mistake loosened the grip of his defense, and the shadows surged forward. His eyes darted toward the music book. Amid the chaos, he spotted the mysterious symbols on its cover, faintly glowing. He realized they looked like ancient seals. What if these seals could end the nightmare? Summoning his courage, Amos dove toward the chest to retrieve the music book. He flung it open, the pages flipping wildly, releasing bursts of cold wind that stung his skin. Symbols flickered across the shop like fireflies. Then he saw it, a page that wasn't there before, titled "The Final Rest Note." Scribbled beneath it were instructions. Once played, this shall end the melody, but at a price. Every instinct screamed for Amos to stop, but the shadows bore down on him. With trembling hands, he rushed to the piano and began playing the final notes sequence. The melody was more haunting than ever, pulling at his sanity. Each note resonated with an unbearable weight. The shadows screeched in pain, their forms dissipating like smoke drawn into a vortex. The shop itself seemed to exhale, its walls growing brighter. Amos, drenched in sweat, struck the last note. Suddenly, silence reigned. The world was still. But just as relief began washing over him, Amos noticed something chilling. Where his reflection should have been cast against the shop's glass window, there was nothing. He looked at his hands, which now appeared translucent. Voices echoed in his mind. "You finished the melody, and now you belong to us." The music shop stands empty in Eldermore today. Inside, however, if one listens closely, the faint echo of a piano plays at night, a haunting melody forever tethered to the shadows. Legend claims that Amos still plays there, a shadow among shadows, ensuring the Shadow Sonata is never played again. Or so they hope. So tell me, could you resist playing such a haunting melody? Or would curiosity get the better of you? Maybe one day when you pass an old music shop, you'll hear that faint tune and remember this tale of echoes and shadows. Until next time, beware of the melodies you summon.